Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're live. 4:00 p.m., Canoga Park, California, November 16th, 2023, at the 2LaneLIVE headquarters. What's up, boys? We'll give them an intro when we get into it. What is happening this week? Let's give them some
missed
updates.
You last week, right?
You missed
we
me
missed
or missed
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were not here.
We were not here. We were doing a little project.
We were in a secret location doing secret things
In secret.
and having a secretly good time.
And secretly,
but we're going to share it in January.
We're going to share it in January.
But right now it's a secret.
It's a secret. So we can't tell you.
So,
Whatever.
but
at 2LaneLIVE
we have
Garage,
two things that were really, really awesome. We had our video yesterday, Mount Baldy Loop. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, I'm a little bit disappointed, but you still have time to go see it. So that's cool. Great video. Little local run we did, right?
Yeah, it was roads we'd never been on. And they're literally 30 miles away from us.
In our backyard, and we go the distance usually. And now we're like, let's just.
We've always done Angeles Crest.
Right.
But we had never done Azusa Canyon, Glendora Road. We'd never Mount Baldy, none of that. I mean, it was pretty spectacular.
I mean, that's why we have, if you don't go, you won't know.
It is true.
But the great thing is we had an opening. We didn't know what to expect. We had liquid death water here. We had tacos. We had,
for a little context, an opening of what?
Opening of our brand new store.
Bingo.
We've been selling things and we've out of a warehouse, but now we have a beautiful showroom. We've all worked very hard on our studio. We're loving our new studio. This is kind of my favorite place right here. But
we had a meeting in it this morning.
Yes, we have meetings.
That could be an interesting development there as well. So
definitely could.
But look, we served 840 tacos. I mean, if you watch the drop of our grand opening, you've heard this, but we served 840 tacos. We had a wonderful gentleman that always is on our drops talking to us and coming into the shop. He serves the People's Choice chili. He did 70 cups or 75 cups of that. That's like 3.5 gallons of chili.
We had 400 to 500 people. And the greatest thing about it is we got to shake hands. We shake hands with America. We got to shake hands with so many people and hugs and meeting people and seeing familiar faces. But the beautiful thing is we were able to raise $3,000.
Yeah, for Harley Drew's foundation. If you get a chance, go look at his Instagram, 1903 Harley Drew. He's got a deep story. His grandfather started the first African-American motorcycle club in Compton. Had to get Sonny Barger's approval with the Hells Angels. And he is basically continued his grandfather's legacy by supporting inner city youth. And the $3,000 we raised will support one whole event for him. It's about $1,500 to get school buses for the kids to get on and get them over to the Harley dealership. Another $1,500 for food and swag bags. So we were able to help that group of kids.
So it's like bringing people together. Motorcycles have this magnetism about them that brings people together anyway. But when everyone comes together, and it's just what a wonderful community, you know, we have some of that going on today in this show.
Well, I mean, we were at a nice event. We were riding around the mountains of New Mexico, north of Santa Fe, which was spectacular, beautiful. We caught it at the right time, some nice color changes. But we were able to meet a lot of wonderful people. But one of those was Lorna. And we want to, maybe Josh, you can bring them in and let's get the introduction done. And I think this is going to be a memorable podcast for us because this is a group of people that are doing some amazing work. And you're right, the motorcycle community gets behind them and they do these rides and it's going to be a great story.
Well, I know our lives have changed. Our lives have changed the second we put our leg over Harley-Davidson. You can ride any motorcycle, but it changed for me when I got on a Harley.
Yeah.
So
without further ado,
let's see. Lorna and Tarah are from the Medicine Wheel Ride. The ride, let's see, I'll just read it from here. I'll pretend I memorized it. We are a grassroots movement. We ride to bring national awareness and resources to issues impacting Indigenous people. We are not experts, and we are not waiting until experts arrive. I like that part.
I love that part.
We're just women on motorcycles who care about something that affects us. We are getting together, and we're figuring it out figuring it out as we get along. So anyway, without further ado, let's get him in here. And we got Lisa tuning in
Lisa.
too. Look at that.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
Sorry.
How's it going?
So, Lisa, where are you headed right now?
Well, I just got out of a tattoo shop.
Oh, so you're already finished.
Yeah, I just got it done.
Whoa.
Whoa. We thought we were going to get a little bit of the buzzing noise.
Yeah, we wanted to actually see that in action.
Well, could have, but glad to be here.
Well, we appreciate it. And by way, let's kind of go around the table. Lorna, why don't you start off? Just an introduction, a little bit about you, what motorcycle maybe you ride, what your favorite thing about riding is, and then we'll kind of get back into the foundation.
Okay. My name is Lorna Cooney, and I am from the Oglala Sioux tribe here in South Dakota on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And I've been riding, to most people's standards, I'm still a new rider. I've only been riding since 2018 is when I started riding. And the first year that I started riding, I met these amazing women, and we've just, have just been moving along, trying to make a difference in our communities.
And your family has a deep root of serving our country, as do you, right?
Correct. Yes, I'm a Navy veteran, and I come from a long line of veterans. My dad is a Vietnam veteran, and his dad is a World War II veteran as well.
Well, we appreciate you setting this up. We met you in Santa Fe and had a great couple days with you riding around the countryside there. So beautiful. Tarah, how about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Tarah Weeks, and gosh, I've been riding since I was a kid, starting on little ATVs, and got into a little bit of desert racing. Gosh, 20 years ago, about 20 or so years ago, and then got into riding the big bikes when I met my husband over almost 13 years ago. So
Awesome.
I've been riding for quite a while. Currently, I ride a Street Glide Special. So, and my favorite thing about riding, I really don't think that I could pinpoint it to just one thing. When I'm riding with my sisters, it's just completely incredible. But at the same time, when I'm riding by myself, it's incredible. When I'm riding with my husband, it's incredible. So I really can't pinpoint to, any one time or any one reason why I love to ride. I do enjoy being part of Medicine Wheel Ride, and I love this creative way of bringing awareness and giving back to our communities. So, much respect to my sisters.
And where are you located?
I am currently in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Lisa, how about you?
Oh, my heart is beating. I don't like talking.
Don't let it beat. It's fine. We're easy going.
That means I'm alive, I guess.
Yes,
But,
yes.
I'm here in the land of the Kanaka Maoli, in the Hawaiian Islands in Maui, and that's where I reside. My ancestors are Chichimeca, as far south as Chinampas, Jalisco,
Oh, wow.
up to New Mexico and California. So, and I grew up kind of on dirt bikes as a kid. My dad built some bikes, and just started riding, met up with these sisters, and wanted to do something that involved our motorcycles, because that's one thing we know how to do, is ride our bikes.
Right.
And me and Tarah had a good day the other day. Seemed like yesterday, but yeah. So if we can raise awareness and ride our motorcycles and help our communities, I think that's what it's about.
Right.
that giving back thing is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Most definitely.
talk a little bit about the foundation and the rides that you guys do, because I know you've got a couple that you've been doing in San Diego. I think, Lorna, you said maybe you did a Hawaii one, but you've got kind of a special one every year in Sturgis, right?
Yeah. So the organization, we started the organization back in 2019, but we established the nonprofit in 2020. And we started it off with our first ride in 2020 at Sturgis. And then we expanded out, I think the next year, and had our first ride out in San Diego. And then I think the next year after that, we went out to Maui. And, we continued to have our rides every year here at Sturgis. We've completed 4 of them so far, and we're looking forward to our next year ride at Sturgis.
Well, I saw the pictures, some of the pictures. You guys have a pretty big group, a good size of riders comes out.
We really do, and it's really amazing. We have an amazing support from the Southwest. We have local riders that come out, and I think, it's just amazing to see all the different nations come out, and all of the allies that just come out to support our ride, come out to support this cause and help us bring awareness, to missing and murdered Indigenous people. In our foundation, we not only do work with that, we've helped victims of sex trafficking, we've helped domestic violence victims. We really are about women and uplifting women. And finding
Well, let's kind of talk. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. I said, and creating safe spaces for these women.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit about the cause and what prompted this and what's happening out there, so we can and Josh has got in the links where you can donate. If you feel you want to donate today, you can do that in the links that are embedded. But what's your website name and how do they find that? Where do they get to? Go ahead and just, because people on the radio that would be listening to this later on Spotify or what have you won't have the visibility. So
we're at medicinewheelride.org. And
it's Medicine Wheel, right?
Yeah, Medicine Wheel, WHEEL, like wheel, like a motorcycle wheel.
Yep.
And that's the name of our organization, is Medicine Wheel Ride. And that name was established when we started the organization. And we chose that because to many of our Indigenous cultures, the medicine wheel holds, it's a significant symbol, to a lot of different Indigenous people, and to different people it has different meaning. It's just that, and it's one of the main significance of that medicine wheel is that interconnectivity of just bringing things together, balance of life, circle of knowledge, and it brings together the power we each have in our own lives. And that's what we bring to the medicine wheel with our ride, is that knowledge, that passion to make difference in our communities, to bring healing to our communities, to bring resources to our communities. So anybody else, what you, Tarah, Lisa?
No, so
you did good.
The wheel has the wheel has a lot of meaning in all the cultures, as you're saying, the Indigenous cultures, and so you kind of chose that as the logo. Mm-hmm. But explain what a medicine wheel really kind of is and what it means.
Tarah, I'll let you explain that.
So the medicine wheel is in the shape of a circle, and it's divided into 4 parts. And the number 4 is significant in almost all Native cultures. It comes from having, 4 seasons, four directions. A lot of our ceremonies are done in 4s. Our prayers are said 4 times. And, it has a lot of significance, and it has a different, there are different teachings in our cultures, in our different cultures. So whereas I'm Dene, which is Navajo, from here in Arizona, our reservation also is in New Mexico and part of Utah. And We don't have a medicine wheel per se. It's kind of something that we've adopted into our teachings because as tribal nations, we all share with each other. There's a saying that we are all related, and that is in, our Diné people go by a relations system we call ke, and Lakota, they have a saying at the end of their prayers of Mi Takuya Oyasi. I think I said that right. I'm learning. So I have a kind of a unique situation where I am full Diné, I'm full Navajo, and my husband is half Navajo and half Sioux. So I've had to learn a lot of his paternal culture because we have grandchildren, and I want to be able to teach them about that side of themselves. So I ask my sister Lorna a lot about things, and, we kind of mentor each other and, kick around different ideas between our cultures because a lot of them are like polar opposites, whereas the Lakota embrace death, we fear it. The culture, it's very taboo to even speak of our relatives that have gone to the next world, which also puts a little bit of a kink in the cause that we have with the murdered and missing Indigenous people. We handle things in different ways and we pray in different ways because of those differences. And the medicine wheel is symbolic of all of those differences as well. So, there are a lot of teachings about it. And you can't, you could go into days of stories and teachings about it. So it's really difficult to just kind of nutshell it.
Sure. But it was important.
I could add one thing to the medicine wheel and to the wheel is, I think one aspect that we thought of it as too is when we're riding to different areas, different reservations, different families, but that we want to bring medicine to these families. We want to bring healing. We want to be there to listen to them. And if we can help carry that pain for them in some way and take it to ceremony, take it to help relieve them, and we can bring medicine for them. I think, and a lot of us riders are traumatized in our own lives, and that healing and that medicine is coming as we're riding from place to place. So it's kind of a beautiful journey. It's hard, but it's worth it.
So let's talk a little bit about that then. So what are you actually supporting out there, and what's the cause? And talk a little bit about the missing Indigenous people and what you're seeing and what you're hearing out there, so people get an understanding of how important what you do, what you're doing is to everyone, actually.
Lisa, do you want to speak on that?
Is that for me?
Whoever wants to take it.
Go, Lisa, go.
I just go ahead, Lorna.
Okay. I'm trying to give them opportunities, but no, I think that, how we all met, I think there was the sharing. Many women were sharing stories of trauma that they've had in their lives. Whether it was domestic violence, it was, a rider having a missing child, just how it affected us as riders. Because I think we were coming up on that May 5th. May 5th is the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People. And our idea behind that was, what can we do to make a difference? How can we help our communities? And it is like the motorcycle community is one of the most giving communities that I've ever, been around, and so it's like, in our own communities, we know what a lot of the issues are and what is going on in our communities. And not a lot of people outside of those communities really know, some of the traumas, difficulties, just the things that we've faced over, thousands of hundreds of years, and so, our idea behind that was, let's use this as an opportunity to bring a voice, to our missing and murdered Indigenous women, to our missing and murdered Indigenous men as well, and children, because this affects all of us as a people, and if we can help bring awareness to that, if we can help bring resources to that, that was the idea behind the Medicine Wheel. And through that, through our fundraising that we've been able to do, we've been able to help with search and rescues. We've been able to help with billboards. We've been able to help get, women into safe spaces. We've been able to just do so much, with the resources that we've been able to bring in. And I can go on and on about, a lot of the things that we have done, in our own communities and outside of our communities, because we are a national organization. We've kind of been through a lot of different Indigenous communities. And this past summer, last summer, we worked on a documentary with a local family here that we helped. And this past year through Sturgis, we started out in Phoenix, and we rode up from Phoenix, and we stopped in different communities. We did outreach with local, other local organizations, grassroots organizations in those communities, and brought those resources together, invited families, and just shared that time to hear their stories, to offer healing, and just to acknowledge, because a lot of the times our families, they just want to be acknowledged and say, hey, you know what, we hear you, what can we do to help you, because many of our missing, they're forgotten about. They're not in, in the media, their stories aren't being shared. And so that's what we want to do through our writing, and is bring awareness for these families and let them know that their family members aren't forgotten.
Yes.
So is it a big thing on the reservation for people to go missing? Is there abduction? Is it trafficking? What is it? Kind of just what happens across the globe? Talk a little bit about the missing and what's going on with them.
Let one of the other women speak.
I would speak in Hawaii. It's a lot of trafficking out in Hawaii. And I was just, as I was getting my tattoo today too, because he's a native Hawaiian, the things that aren't discussed or talked about, we believe is a lot because of tourism, because you don't ever want to hinder people from coming. But a lot of the same issues that the Kanakas are facing out here, the Native Hawaiians, are the same issues that are affecting our Indigenous communities in the mainland. And trafficking is huge out here, but we also have missing or murdered Native Hawaiians, and a few here in Maui, and suicide is really high in the Hawaiian Islands, probably one of the highest, but it's not talked about. But we're trying to change that. We're trying to change that, by being a part of Medicine Wheel Ride and being advocacy for these issues out here.
Thank you for sharing that.
So how often do you guys get together from different areas and meet and do a ride or do an event or anything like that?
As often as possible. No, but we mainly get together, at our two big events. Maui's, we've had the one right there, and we're hopeful that'll continue to grow. I don't know if we're going to do it this year, right? Or do you know, Lisa?
Yeah, well, in Maui, we've actually done it a few times. I think this was a third or fourth. But Medicine Wheel Ride has been the sponsor, helping do that, and we have a lot of support out here. Maybe we might do it on Oahu, but Maui right now this year, I don't know. I'm real sensitive to what's happening out here, and I just don't know if it's the time. Right now, we got a lot of other things to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah, and we have we have the second event is in San Diego, but we do also, like for me, I'm really involved in my community here. And I know Lisa is involved in her community and Tarah's involved in her community, and I think that's a big part of the work. Like, yes, we have these big rides that happen annually, but we also, do a lot of volunteer work in our own communities outside or part of the medicinal ride, but also outside of the medicinal ride as well.
Lisa, you mentioned it's not talked about press or otherwise. Why is that? Is it people within the tribe or don't want to talk about it, or is it is it just no showcase from the media around what's happening? Is it a combination of things? What's holding back from talking about the stuff?
Well, I would say, like, from the island's perspective, it's more around tourism. So
Yeah,
if there's any negative, things brought up, it's not, it's about money, if the bottom line,
right.
And it's not about, the culture of the native people here, or let's find the resources to help them. It's just a lot of atrocities built on one another over hundreds of years. So hopefully, only legislation and stuff, our government within locally can change these. We can be a voice, and the Kapuna here are really strong in their ways out here. And all I can do is support out here. And as far as the reservations, I think it's just not. I'm sure everybody knows Gabby Patino, but if we could get that type of level of exposure when one of our relatives goes missing out there, maybe, they would be quicker to be found or convicted.
Right. And it's not just on the legislative level. I think that the laws that already exist need to be implemented and followed up through the justice system. And there are so many cracks in that sidewalk, right? And part of what Medicine Wheel Ride does, and those of us that do work in our community, we try to fill those gaps. We try to kind of mend those broken pieces in our communities that aren't working, whether that's law enforcement or the justice system or lack of resources. We try to, plug those holes up to help our people.
Like the Red Sand Project.
Absolutely, like the Red Sand Project. Yep.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Lorna, I set you up.
The Red Sand Project is one of our partner organizations, and they're actually the organization that we partnered with to do the documentary that we worked on last summer, and it's called We Ride for Her is the name of the documentary. And that's going to be out in 2024 to the public. But yeah, they're a anti-human trafficking organization. They're international, and they go and they do like different projects in different communities. And one of the things they do is they pour red sand into the cracks of the sidewalks to say, we're not going to let one more person fall through the cracks, that we're going to try to bring awareness and bring resources for, for these individuals. And so they were one of our partner organizations, and they have just been so supportive and so amazing to work with. And, everything that we did this past summer wouldn't have been possible without their support. So I really, can't say enough about how amazing they have been. They helped us coordinate, all the stops this past year, with all the partner organizations that we worked with, because there's a lot of grassroots organizations. And I think one of the things that we've really tried to work on is trying to bring these resources together and bring these grassroots organizations to work together, because we're more powerful when we're working together.
Right.
We need to get everyone to be more doing. We need more doers
and
not people just watching, because The more people that get involved, more action happens.
Yeah, and that's what it really was. It was a call to action. You know, the ride, the awareness, you know, that we were doing it's a call to action. Like this is, you know, this is an issue that we should all be concerned about. You know, we have too many people who are going missing and we're not doing enough to bring them home.
So when you have a place like Sturgis and you do that ride, that seems to be, that's what I've seen. I mean, this is all pretty new to me, but that one looked really big and it looked like there was a lot of doers there.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's just a fist of like solidarity, you know, to.
I couldn't see because the live thing is in the way.
Oh.
I get it.
Yeah, we did that a lot. You know, it's
power to the people.
Yeah,
I love it.
Now, do you all go to Sturgis? All three of you, or you're going to be there?
Yeah, we're there every year.
We'll be starting in LA area.
Awesome. I mean, I think we're talking about we're going to be there with you as well.
We're going to be there with you one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably
that'd be awesome. Because I've been waiting to meet you guys.
Yes, this will be great.
We'll probably end up meeting you at your arrival point in Custer, and then figure out what we can do from there to raise some awareness. Maybe ride back into Deadwood at some point together.
We were thinking we can all ride and get people that follow us to ride with it. Get as many people as we can to fill Outlaw Square.
Let's raise some money.
Yeah.
Pack that square, raise some money and awareness, and see what can happen. But we're looking forward to that, and we're talking with Harley about that as well.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you know,
speaking of which, I was just go ahead.
No, I appreciate all of the support. You guys have all been amazing.
I might have missed it. We talked about some of your guys' riding history, starting on dirt bikes, this and that. Did we talk about what you guys ride right now?
I ride a street glide.
Nice.
I got a road glide special. Road glide special.
Yes.
Yes.
Tarah?
We know.
Street glide special.
Street glide, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you
I always
ship your
tell
bike
them
over
if they spend a little more money, they would have got 2 headlights.
Not even that much
my road glide is it stays in California.
Okay.
I have a switchback and a street bob out here.
Gotcha.
We both started on Road Kings, then we had a couple of street glides, then a couple road glides. But yes, road glide. I like the 2 headlights.
We have a guy that's been following us since probably the beginning, Frank Dominguez, and they shipped their bikes out from Hawaii. He's stationed over there. Him and his son came over and rode from California to Sturgis and back. And he likes to say he had the only bikes in Sturgis with Hawaiian plates on it.
He probably did.
Actually, there was like in 2013, I think 24 of us from Maui shipped our bikes over.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Galen and I, we've both ridden the entire loop of Maui.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
What's the road to Hana? We did all that stuff with our wives.
That was all dirt roads on the backside.
We did it.
That's better than being in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a lot of
so
fish
great on a
towing.
motorcycle.
Yeah, it's so beautiful out there.
Yeah, we're sorry for the devastation that's happened. I love that town. It's just so unfortunate. The history that's lost there as well is just insane.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And we just ask everybody for the continued prayers. That's what my ink was about today, was just about Lahaina and the history of it. I can't really explain it here, but one day when we meet up.
Yes,
we'll do that. So I think, Lorna, maybe you were mentioning, and I maybe have the story a little bit wrong, but actually just before we met up in Santa Fe or thereabouts, actually you guys had found one of the missing. Was I hearing you right? Like there was a family that you were in contact with and actually found one of the people that were missing, and it was like a big. Maybe I
That might have been the
misunderstood.
case with Jamie Yazi, maybe.
Oh yeah, it was the case with Jamie Yazi. That's what it was. And Tarah, she's been really, instrumental in that whole case. Her and a few other of our riders in Arizona, and that was one of the first cases that that was brought to our attention. The very first year we started the Medicine Wheel Ride, and we continued with that case. And I'll let Tarah tell that story.
Jamie Yazi's family has become like family to me. It's been quite the journey. Jamie Yazi was a young Diné woman, a single mom of 3 children who had a boyfriend who was very abusive. And June, the end of June of 2019, she was last heard from. Calls were made to police, and police were hesitant to file a missing persons report on her. It wasn't, I think, until almost a week later or so that they finally filed a missing persons report and entered her into the NCIC system. There was very little search efforts for her. A few of the other riders, and Lisa was part of that crew that made contact with Jamie Yazi's family on their way to Sturgis in 2020. So a whole year by then had gone by since the disappearance of Jamie. Once that contact was made, fundraising started and awareness efforts started with a billboard and T-shirts being made and certain types of awareness merchandise, T-shirts of, bring Jamie home, stickers, and just different MMIW type awareness items that the family could sell to make money, to help search efforts, and to help with paying for the billboard, to continue to pay for the billboard, because there's an upfront cost for that, and then they had to pay month by month to keep that billboard up. At that time, I think they only had like $5,000 that the FBI was putting up for reward for any information leading to finding Jamie. Months and months went by. We were in Sturgis once again in August of 2021 when we got word that an arrest was made in the arrest of her boyfriend, who was being charged with her disappearance. The investigation was still ongoing, and sometime around that time, Jamie's aunt made contact with myself and another person who is not part of Medicine Wheel Ride, who started her own search and rescue organization. And we collaborated and met up with Jamie's family, and she walked us through. And this is the amazing thing about our Indigenous people is we are very connected to our relatives, and we are very connected to our spiritual selves, and we are very connected to our belief systems. The aunt of Jamie had a certain premonition where she, in this dream that she had, she was looking for these obvious landmarks that were in her dream. And she looked for weeks, searched for weeks. During that time, she was able to find, and I'm getting goosies right now as I'm talking about this. During that time, she was able to find a little coin purse. It's what we called a wristlet, a purse that had belonged to Jamie, and she knew that that was Jamie's. She took that item to the police department, and now we have evidence. Now we have something to work with, something tangible to reopen the case or to bring life back to the case, because they were at, you know, at dead end with this. FBI and law enforcement must have done a search, because it was in November, and we're coming up on that anniversary, November 23rd. They found Jamie's remains out in the desert, not even on our reservation. She was found on the Hopi side of our lands. And, you know, months and months went by. The investigation was still ongoing. Her remains were found, but FBI still would not release those remains to the family because of the investigation. New information was found out about the boyfriend. More people came forward alleging the abuse, the abusive nature that he had, and he was charged with like 9 felony accounts of assault and kidnapping and strangulation and the worst being first-degree murder. And they went into trial in September, right after our ride. And at the end of that trial, he was found guilty on all 9 counts, which was a huge, huge victory for Indian country and all of these stories that we carry with us when we go from community to community. And, you know, and all of this was because we had a very dedicated and persistent aunt that advocated for her niece relentlessly all those years. You know, it was day to day and week to week and month to month. And, you know, she disappeared in 2019 and victory was not, what do you call it? I can't even think right now. Justice was not found until last month. And it's it's an amazing story, and it's a story that sets apart other stories of other cultures that don't have that connection and that dedication to find their family members. And I just totally commend Jamie's aunt, you know, for sticking with it, because she put up with a lot of negativity all along the way, a lot of naysayers, and, you know, even her own people who, you know, doubted her, and, you know, family members, and, you know, just saying, let it go. And she was like, no, you know. So in my volunteer efforts, I do search and rescue as well. Still, I've gone to several Native communities and reservations and have done work in search and rescue. And I like to tell that story, especially to families, because they're so caught up in their grief that they're not always paying attention to the things that Creator's trying to tell us, you know, and the things that our relatives that have gone before us are trying to tell us. And in order to keep in tune with that, we have to exercise daily our spiritual sides, you know, whether that's smudging or praying, or, you know, taking off our shoes and walking on the earth, or sitting in ceremony, or dancing, or singing, or, you know, having repowering conversations with each other as sisters. You know, we have to maintain that connection. And so when I tell this story to families that are in turmoil or in crisis, it's a reminder to them, but it's also a reminder to me as well, you know, that we do have to pay attention to those things within us. Incredible story.
Absolutely agree.
And thank you.
Yeah.
I would say thank you to Darlene Gomez, our attorney. She's a medicine wheel rider also. Did it all pro bono. Does a lot of work for MMIW, MMIP, the law offices of Darlene Gomez. She is amazing.
Well, think about it. Even if you just impact this one family, that's all worth it, right?
Right.
I mean, just carrying that message out there. We talk, we've had others on that have gone through challenges in their life where maybe they were ready to commit suicide and they heard a knock on a door, but by us getting this message out, and even if it's one of our viewers that is like, hey, I need to contact them or and get some help. We've had POW folks on. It's just, if we can just help one person at a time, and that builds to 2 and then builds to 3, and you guys should be commended for you haven't been around that long, but it seems like to me you've got some power and you're mighty.
Well,
and
you can never give up. And what you said at the end there, and through that part of connecting with earth, connecting with your soul, connecting with your family, never giving up, never taking no for an answer. And just, if you don't do that in life, in anything you do, you're not going to make it. And that has to be onto the family and the cause that you're talking about. It's like, you never, ever give up.
But you're right. I mean, in the midst of grief and anger, maybe your eye's not always on the ball. And so great for the aunt to really push through. And, sometimes we do need to listen to what's coming into us and not just, hey, that was a dream, or there's a message there somewhere. And oftentimes I don't think we probably listen as much.
And it's not, it doesn't always come in the form of a dream,
Right.
Things like that come in other ways, and, we have to pay attention.
But thank you guys for being bold, for using your platform to allow us to share. I mean, a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So
the cool
thank you guys.
We appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, we've met so many different people and so many different walks of life, and to open our platform is just we're learning being with you now. We've learned with people that we've had on before, and we have some great people lined up, but it's like, that's how you grow and expand.
I mean, we have in our about us and who we are, we have a couple lines in there, like, we're the vessel to be telling some of these stories and use and lever the platform in the right way. We're not a really political platform. We're more we're storytellers, and Lance says we soar like eagles. So we get out and we hear all these, like when we met Lorna at first, I was just captivated by the organization that she's representing and what you guys do. And to me, I was saying earlier before we were on air, we've been doing this 3.5 years, and we tried to incorporate more Indigenous culture, history into what we're doing, because at first it's like, I can look at Wikipedia or he can look at it and we memorize kind of what's in Wikipedia, but that's all driven for modern day. It's the modern day settlers that are getting the credit for being up in the hills, when yes, they do get some credit because they discovered something, but there's people that have been there maybe 1,000 years before the settlers came. And we don't give that group of people as much credit sometimes as we should. So we certainly try to do that. We want to have more of a level playing field with everyone, and just bring the stories up, and because they're so good.
Well, and that's what riding for me, every trip I've been on, and every road I've been on, whether it's desert, mountain, wherever we are, when you're out there, to me, it's like, I learned so much just everywhere I go. And that's where it came up. It's like we were doing an interview, and we were standing there in a on the side of a cliff looking down at a lake, and it's like
in Maine.
We got there because of motorcycles, and I just stood up and I said, we're like eagles soaring on the open road, you know, and that's how I felt at that moment. And that's what it is. I mean, I can't even imagine not riding an experience.
And we were on EagleRiders, and they just commented.
Yeah. But it's opened up. I mean, I've always, my whole life, been very in tune with and in touch with all kinds of different things in life. I'm not closed-minded. I don't like to be closed-minded. I like to be open and learn things, whether I like it or not. But the highway and meeting people, that's why we came up with Shaking Hands with America, because from coast to coast, if you watch the news, you're not seeing what the country and the people in the country are about. And when you do get out there and find out what they're about, it's amazing. What a great world of people that we've met and that have changed our paths in a positive way, I think.
I mean, there's a lot of bad out there too.
Yeah,
and
but
we can't forget about that stuff. But
you know,
I grew up, my grandparents had a farm out in Pingree, Idaho, and we were abutting the Blackfoot Indian Reservation. And I grew up seeing, you know, people there, and I felt like it was a separate group of people, and it was, I just never could understand that. And I don't think we understand it. I don't think many of us understand what you all go through and what you've been through. But this is a platform that we want to say it's yours to use, and we're here and happy to do it. And we want to ride with you. We want to raise some money and help you guys. And because it's important. It's important, the cause that you've chosen. We call it fate. There's fate in your life right now, and that fate is helping others, whether that's helping them get through the grief, or whether that's helping them find a killer, or whether that's helping them find remains or find a person that they're bringing back to the family. So it's important work that you're doing.
But and that if from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. But people say, "Oh, there's no friendly people in LA," and I say, you know, they don't smile, and I say, have you smiled at them? Watch what happens. You know, if you hold the door for someone in LA, and sometimes you get nothing, but sometimes you get someone that looks at you and goes, wow, thank you. You know, I didn't know people did that. Yeah, people do it if they do it. So the more we do it, the more people do it. People love to share when they're shared with.
So on a separate note, families, do we have kids? What's our favorite? Is riding our favorite thing to do? Is it cooking? Is it,
Riding. That's medicine. That's healing.
Yes, it is.
I mean, if this thing called work wouldn't get in the way, I'd be out there all the time.
I like it. One of my favorite states of traveling all over the country. Every time I get into Arizona, that's when my heart feels like I'm home. So I love Arizona.
Have you been there when it's 118?
I've been there when it's 118. I've been on the rim of the Grand Canyon when it's been a full-on blizzard in the snow. It's getting dark, and we're riding our motorcycles on the rim, saying we got to get to Williams because it's getting dark. But we're watching the snow's falling on us, and in the canyon, in the gorge, is clouds separating and rainbows coming down, and just like this crazy stuff. But I've been from Tombstone, Douglas, all the way to the northern. I mean, every part of that state has beauty in it for me, you know. Yes, love it.
Yes, that's amazing.
And for the records, Lorna probably didn't introduce herself, but we call her Whip.
Whip.
We are Whip. So
like that.
When you say Lorna, I'm kind of like, who? But
what is Whip?
That.
She keeps everybody in line.
I'm really nice.
Keep everybody in line.
Keeps everybody moving and in line.
Keeps us accountable.
There you go.
And
you need one of those once in a while.
Is there like
Yeah.
a membership, a group that a number of like, hey, can you say, hey, we have 500 people in this, 25 people, 100
You know, I don't
in
really,
the medicine wheel?
we don't, yeah, with the medicinal ride, we don't really classify that we have members. You know, we say we have riders, and we're just riders who believe in a cause, you know, who believe in helping our people and believe in, you know, in missing and murdered Indigenous people and bringing awareness to that cause. And so, like, you seen my vest that I wore, the ribbon patch that I had.
Yep.
And so I think in our planning page, I think we have like 32 riders in there. And those are kind of like the main people who kind of show up and who help, you know, organize everything. But, you know, I think that we're bigger than that, you know.
We're not a motorcycle club. We're not. We're just a group of riders who have passion for Native communities, helping them, you know, with the issues that affect our communities. I mean, missing and murdered is our the thing that we ride for, but I mean, we also, you know, of course, ride for mental illness and suicide and land rights and land back.
You guys care.
Yeah.
All good
But
stuff.
thank you guys.
Yes, thank you. Really quick, I just want to give a shout out to our listeners that have been chiming in and commenting. I saw in there that we had a couple of guys that rode with us in Sturgis. Very cool. Thank you guys. And then also Doodle, who joined us from Arizona all the way up to Sturgis.
Love you, Doodle.
Yes. She's our little sister.
Yes.
She's awesome. She's definitely awesome.
Yeah, we've met her a couple times, so it's we know the doodle.
Yeah, she's actually going to be coming out with a video here on her YouTube channel, you know, which documented our ride up from Phoenix. I think she's supposed to be releasing that this coming week because it's actually Native American Heritage Month. So
awesome. Well, we would love to be part. We want to do this Sturgis event and get as many people as we can to ride from your ending point to Outlaw Square and see if we can just get a big train and get into the square and get some stuff floating your guys' way fund-wise so you can help you in your cause.
We appreciate it. We do.
Well, I'll tell you, we always what's been interesting over 3.5 years is the fact that when we're at an event, people are always coming up wanting to talk about, you know, a cause, what took place, and we now have 3 new friends that we can talk through that with. You guys are fantastic. All that you're doing out of the goodness of your hearts and your souls is important, and we're proud to know you. And it's nice to getting to know you, Lisa and Tarah. Although this is how we do it these days. It's through like Zoom things or whatever. But it was a super pleasure just to meet Lorna in person, and
we got to hug Lorna.
We got to hug her. She at first she's like, "Who are these cats?" And we're like, "Well,
I know. I had to tell her. I had to tell her who you guys were."
Well, thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa.
We dig it. But see how this is, like, it's from our 3.5 years of doing this, we have gained such a big family of friends, and you guys are now part of that. And it's fantastic.
We appreciate that.
And we have a patch wall here, so we expect we get a logo or some sort of patch or something we can hang on the wall.
Automatic.
Lorna was in the military, so
we need a Navy patch.
We get them sent in to us from all over the world.
Get us the address, and we'll get it to you.
No, did I give you a patch? I thought I did.
Maybe you did give us something.
Oh, yeah. You gave us. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Did we put that up?
We have like a little stack of them that we've gotten in the last month and a half that haven't gone on the wall yet. But we have some South Dakota, Arizona,
all over,
all kinds of stuff. England.
As we close down here, we've been going an hour, so that's great. Doesn't feel like an hour, right?
Yeah.
We told you it'd be nice and easy. Website again, real quick.
medicinewheelride.org.
Fantastic. And then if there's any last comments you want to say, is there anything burning that you'd want to say?
No, I just want to say that, our event, at Sturgis, San Diego, Maui, they're open to the public. Everybody is welcome, men, because we get it a lot because they think because we're women riders, we just, want, it's an all women event, and it's not. We welcome, anybody who wants to come out and support our cause.
Man, woman, Muppet.
Love it.
So you do something in San Diego. When do you do that?
We're still working out the date for that. Last year we had it on May 5th, which is the National Day of Awareness, but we're thinking about moving that date because we're all really involved in our own communities, that some of us would like to be in our community, to do events locally.
But you'll announce that and they can see that on the website when you're ready, right?
Yes, we'll announce that.
Yes.
On Facebook.
Well, we certainly appreciate having you guys on. We're going to sign off, so stay with us for just a minute. We'll put you out, and then we'll come back. We just want to say thank you behind the scenes. So hang on just 1 second. We'll almost be done. You guys are great. Thank you for the time and the energy you brought to the show today. And if we can help raise some money, we're going to do that in one way or another. We promise.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So usually I'll kind of take them off the screen. I'm thinking we do something a little bit differently this time. So for those of you that are just tuning in, this episode is brought to you by EagleRider Motorcycle Rentals and Tours. Don't forget to check out 2LaneLIVE.com under the EagleRider tab to see how you can book a trip, save some money, and have a good time. And this is where you guys come in handy. With that, should we give it some instruction?
Yick.
So usually in our videos, we will see you down the road. So we'll say that all together.
So point at your cameras, and Josh will say "we will," and you guys say "see you down the road," but don't go anywhere. Don't sign out yet.
Okay.
All right. So with that, we appreciate you guys all tuning in, and we will
see you down the road.
Down the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.